It's Christmas on Wall Street as the long-awaited pivot is here, with Jerome Powell signaling that they are giving up on inflation and turning to that long-promised recession. The so-called Federal Reserve dot plot, which measures Fed members' rate projections, went dovish, meaning inflationary, for the first time since the pandemic. Bloomberg was downright giddy, trumpeting that the, quote, great monetary pivot of 2024 is nigh. Stocks, bonds, and currencies all soared as financial markets filled up the punch bowl and lined up the coke and hookers just when Joe Biden's election campaign needs them most. All courtesy of a Federal Reserve that apparently has traded in the Paul Volcker baseball cards for a very clever inflation-fighting strategy of let her rip and hope for the best. Indeed, Mike Alfred ventured that Janet Yellen and the big guy himself may have, quote, intervened with some pointed dialogue with Jerome Powell about their ability to punish the Fed if it does not play ball. Markets reacted like a San Francisco junkie on a UBI, with literally everything going up but the dollar, including gold, which rallied $60 in the space of a few hours, as Bloomberg approvingly put it, quote, virtually no corner of financial markets was left out. It was the biggest one-day rally since 2009. Why? Because despite ongoing inflation, Jerome Powell just signaled the green light for a speculative mania. See, last year was a lean one on the street, with Dark Jerome warning that, quote, pain is coming, as he strangled financial markets to clear room for the federal government to spend everything their dark little hearts crave. Now, Jerome's apparently traded his dark warnings about exuberance with all but begging Wall Street to exuberate away. The problem is, given inflation is nowhere near licked, this is essentially the Fed giving up. Recent videos I've worried about the Fed repeating its catastrophic 1970s stagflation when it eased in the eye of the storm and set off another inflationary crisis. In fact, looking at core inflation, right now it is merrily running at double the Fed's target. Yet, Jerome is now desperately flicking matches on the next tissue fire boom. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. The Fed at this point is praying for a soft landing, the deus ex machina to save institutional independence. The biggest problem is that it's not going to work. I've mentioned in recent videos how the Federal Reserve has never, in its 110 years of existence, pulled off a soft landing. The cuck media hypes it every single time, but it is a myth, a mirage, a fairy tale to help Wall Street traders sleep. In fact, the Federal Reserve has a single recession playbook: hike till it breaks, and then flood money to bail everybody out. The Fed just advanced us to the next stage of the 1970s. What comes next is mass bankruptcies, layoffs, and daily articles about the famous misery index that we thought were a distant memory. Read the whole article at profsaintange.com with charts and everything. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.